Oh, there we go. Yes. That took entirely too long. That took entirely too long. Technical issues fixed. Fixed. I'm about to tell my whole story all over again. Goodness grief. Technical issues fixed. Welcome back, everybody. Hi. It is currently 3:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome back, welcome back. I don't know how many of you guys were on my last live 20 minutes ago. I had to fix some technical issues, but safe to say that it is working again. I just saw somebody purchase. But anywho, hello everyone. Good morning for the ones that are joining right now. My name is Diamond Monroe. I'm the CEO and founder of this wonderful company, Diamond Monroe Organics, and essentially what I came on here for earlier was just talk more about my product down below. But sadly, I got cut off because of my camera, unfortunately. But anywho, just before I go into this, I want to go ahead and pronounce the oil that's down below and to basically give you guys like a rundown of like what I'll be talking about. So I'll be talking about the Ruach hair oil. So the Ruach hair oil is pinned down below. It enhances thinning areas, promotes stimulation, and boosts hair thickness for our hair types. Before you guys start asking questions, am I commission-based seller or I'm the CEO? I am the CEO and founder of this company. Okay, so my name is Diamond Monroe. Nice to meet you all virtually. It is currently 3:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm excited to get to talking to you all. So down below is pronounced the Ruach hair oil, a follicle stimulating formula made with 16 to 20 natural organic ingredients, and I'm here to tell you guys more about it. Okay, so the three different sizes I'm about to display to you all before I get into my story, that you guys can understand how in the world you'll be able to utilize it for yourself as well. Is going to be something that's basically, not required, but it's going to be important for you to stay if in turn you are somebody that deals with the issues of basically lacking thinning areas, or no, lacking thickening areas, and like being stuck at one length. Okay, so first things first, we have our 8 ounce bottle. 8 ounce bottle is gonna last you about, I want to say, 4 to 6 months. So my monitor is like kind of mirrored and it sucks. Let me see. What doesn't suck, but like I don't want it like glaring, but I want it to be in the camera that way it doesn't glare that much. This is our 8 ounce bottle. She's gonna last you about 4 to 6 months. We then have a 4 ounce bottle. She's gonna last you about 2 to 3 months. Now this one right here is kind of like the hot tamale. She's the one that's gonna last you a good long time, a long time enough to start seeing the results. And I am going to mention to you guys a little bit on in the live. Alrighty, and then lastly we have our travel size bottle. So our travel size bottles will last you a max of like 2 weeks in the house if in turn you decide to utilize at home. But first things first, before I go over anything, I want to go over my story. So whenever I was 14 years old, I suffered from heat damage, and when I suffered from this heat damage, there was nothing on the market that was working for me. So what I had to do was I had to get in my kitchen and begin to whip up products of my own, and whip up all these ingredients and stuff, and just throw them on my head. And so after a month of doing that, it wasn't enough to say like, hey, my heat damage is completely gone. It was enough to say like, hey, like, you know what I mean, like it's getting better, but it wasn't enough to be like, okay, the heat damage is completely gone. So about a year and a half later, I decided to blow dry my hair, and I noticed that not only was the heat damage gone, but it was bigger, thicker, and healthier than I had ever seen before. And so essentially with seeing this, I took my hair to Snapchat among my peers, and that's when people began to slide up asking me what it is that I did to grow my hair in that way. And so I was telling them everything, that I utilize, or things they can utilize for themselves, like, hey, try this, try that, and a third, all these ingredients, right? And I told them basically just jumble up together, right? And so I want to say around the 8-10 person I was giving my ingredients over to, I halted and I stopped myself. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my business. So I started my company. About a month later, I sold out the very first day. When selling out, my business began to get widespread. I want to say like in my city area, where people were like knew me because I was a basketball player in my area, so people already saw my hair on the court, and it was like, oh my gosh, like what does she do? And nobody really, like, I don't know, really came up to me. I don't know if I wasn't approachable, I don't know, but they just never did. But when they saw the opportunity to get something from me that they, you know what I mean, that could possibly be their answer to their solution, they were like, oh, I want to grab at it, right? And so my business began to spread like wildfire by word of mouth. And so I want to say, sadly, that high came down to a low about, I want to say, about a few months later, because I decided to color my hair. When coloring my hair, I noticed that my hair, it broke off all over again as if I never did anything in the first place. So I had to eventually start over. And so when I started over, this was like in full throttle 2021, as I expressed in my last live before we cut out because of my camera. I was explaining to you all how when I developed that color damage, I lost my density, my thickness, and everything, right? So it all went away. And I want to say by 2023, that color grew completely out. So I never did big chops. I was always adamant on like, okay, just grow this joker out. Do not cut your hair, grow it out. Because I didn't know what I looked like with like hair being bald, being cut all the way down to my scalp, right? You know what I mean? That's not you in the picture. It surely is not. It's one of my customers love, but I can show you me. You know what I'm saying? But and if in turn you guys are interested in what I look like, I want you guys to go and look at my testimonial on my page. Okay, my page is very very free, and it's pinned to my profile, my story. Alrighty, and so I'm very open and I'm very transparent to helping everybody and telling people my story, my journey. But I just asked for a little bit of like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what you meant by coming at me saying that's not you in that picture. I don't know what we were trying to accomplish there, but my page is very, very free for the ones that are watching, and I'm gonna do my best in like elaborating how you can get there too. Okay, and so anyway, just to fast forward, I want to say by 2023, I had grew my color completely out. So I want to say around that time, I had lost my density, my thickness, and length. Um, I had lost my density, thickness, and length. And so my ultimate goal was just get my hair back to what it originally looked like post heat damage. And so after that, I want to say it took me about 2 years. So I got my hair back to what it originally looked like post heat damage. And safe to say, yeah, I damaged my hair back twice. I damaged my hair twice, and I brought it back twice, and that's my story, okay? And so again, and for the ones who want to know what my story is, I do have it pinned to my profile, so people can watch and go look at it for themselves. But I don't mind putting it on here if you guys did want to see it. I just thought you guys wanted to see some new faces, because I do have a lot of testimonials from over the years, and so I actively started getting on TikTok Shop. I want to say about almost a little bit over a year ago, but this is one I'm really excited about because she did a big chop and she got rid of the stuff that, you know what I mean, basically she knew that was unhealthy. I wasn't sure I wasn't accomplishment. I didn't know her, and I wasn't sure. No, she gave these to me. So this is LaQuinta, that's her name. And so she stopped by my live and said she had some testimonials she wanted to give to me. And I said sure. She sent it to me as I was on the live, and I was sharing with people. And she was in the chat. I even add her on my page because I posted this very photo. And she's in the comment section. Well, I think she's in the comment section. I know she liked it, reposted it, and saved it to her profile. But she essentially posted it on her page and tagged me. So I'm not like trying to steal nobody's stuff. Like this is like anything that I post, I get consent from them first. I'm like, hey, I know you know what I mean, because y'all make money whenever you go on your page and you add the product, right? That's your commission. Okay, so I don't want to infiltrate that. So can I post this? You know what I mean? That's the number one thing I ask. And I'll be like, for sure. But this is her. Again, she comes to my life sometimes. I think that was like one of my first times seeing her whenever she gave me the testimonial, but it's actually amazing. I gave her, the spotlight the other day in a video, and I was actually excited for her. So yeah, she is an amazing person. I'm actually happy about her weight loss journey too. She expressed to me because she said between the two photos she had lost a lot of weight, and so I'm a fitness journey person myself, and so like I thought I was like really really proud of her overall, just her overall health. You know what I mean? But not to get too much into that. Just to show you guys what my hair looks like though now, from suffering from that heat and color damage at the same time. Not same time, at two different times, then growing it back twice. Give me just a second. Let me go to let me go to image. I really don't want to mess nothing up. I'm so for real, like I do not want to mess anything up, y'all. When I tell you, it took 20 minutes to get my thing back up. Freaking crazy. But let me show mine, if in turn that's because I'm gonna try to fit it on this one screen. I'm probably gonna put it like in the other corner, and that way don't like the live don't look too cluttered. Give me a second. But I had some people on the live before. I think y'all found somewhere else to get the product, and I'm not opposed to that. But hold on. Oh shoot. Okay, I think we should be good. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Let me work the kinks out. So this is my hair. Just twisted up now so you can't see it. But I should have had this on. I just didn't want to pile the live up with all these photos. I did not want to do that with a little bit of time, like not time, but the little bit of room that we do have. So I'm gonna try to back up. Probably put hers down here, but then again, like I want y'all to be able to see the product that's pinned. and I don't want it to be necessarily too aligned. So I'm probably actually gonna put this over here though. Alrighty, there we go. I think that's good to go. That's good. That's cool. I mean, if I move it up a little bit and then put it up here. Yeah. So anyway, so that's my story. So I suffered from two different damages, and I brought my hair back twice. So I'm just gonna restart that story again because I feel like I was a little bit all over the place. But welcome, good morning to the ones who just joined. My name is Diamond. I'm the CEO and founder. What are you talking about? Static photos or limited, the resulting low quality. Please talk TikTok. Leave me alone. Oh my gosh, y'all send out violations for anything. My gosh, you can sneeze and you'll send a violation. Anyway, so again, my name is Diamond Monroe. I'm the CEO and founder of Diamond Monroe Organics, and essentially in this live, we'll be talking about the pin product that you see down below. And so, of course, I wanted this to put mine up here because my testimonial tells a story within itself, and then also somebody else's that I just received that I'm really excited about. So again, my name is Diamond Monroe, and I'm about to get into my story on how I started doing what I do now. So whenever I was 14 years old, I suffered from heat damage, and when I suffered from this heat damage, there was nothing on the market that was really assisting my hair and bringing it back like I wanted it to. And so I want to say I started getting in the kitchen and began to mix up products of my own and throwing them in my hair. After about a month of doing this, I noticed that there was a difference, but it wasn't enough difference to be like, oh, the heat damage is completely gone. And so around that time frame, I stopped taking pictures. I stopped blowing out my hair, just left it alone. And of course, like my remedies and stuff like that. And I want to say about a year and a half and some change later, I decided to blow dry my hair. And I noticed that it was not only my heat damage was gone, but it was thicker, bigger, and just healthier, right? And so I took I took that photo or video, whatever the case may be, and I took it to my peers on Snapchat. And that's when they began to slide up asking me what it is that I did to get my hair that way, right? And so I was giving them all this rundown of what they could do for themselves and how they can apply this, how they can apply that. And then around like the 8th, 10th person that, basically asked me that question, I halted and stopped myself like, oh my gosh, this is my business, right? This is mine, right? And so after about a month and some change, I started my company. When I started my company, I noticed that my business just began to grow a little bit faster. And it was through word of mouth and also just me posting on Snapchat, just that one simple app before I got on like, Instagram or whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, my business just began to grow widespread. And so the products, again, that we were talking about for the ones that just got here are these right here. But just to continue that story, sadly, about like a few months later, I decided to make a dumb move. I made a dumb decision and I dyed my hair, I colored it, and I broke my hair clean off all over again as if I never did anything in the first place. So I broke my hair off, and it was year of 2021. So full throttle. I was a fresh going into my freshman year in college, and it was like a new world for me. So like not having like what I was known for, basically, because I went to school for basketball, and so I already had tore my ACL, and then I had lost my hair. It was like you already know where my head was at. You know what I mean? I was like I wasn't right. Like it was mentally I just wasn't there, right? And so my business was the only thing I had leaned upon, and so I had to basically get myself out of a hole that I had digged for myself. And so I want to say by 2023, I got the color completely out. So you know what I mean? I never did big chops. I solely just grew out my hair. And so a lot of people feel like the only route is like, oh, just do a big chop. That's not the only route. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. LaQuinta did that. LaQuinta, she broke, she chopped off her hair, right? I don't know what her damages were. If she just wanted a clean slate, but she went that route. So either way, like this is the route that I took. I didn't do big chops, but I just grew my stuff out. Alrighty, but hers, she did a big chop, and so it's just a toss up. You know what I mean? And so, but anyway, just to continue my story, broke my hair off, and I would say by 2023, my color was completely out. So it took me 2 years to grow that out. But sadly, when my color left, my density, my thickness, my volume, all of that left, right? And so when all of that left, I was like, okay, you know what? Just keep the ball rolling. You got your color completely out. You know what I mean? Like, kudos to you, right? But I want to say it was a whole nother journey within itself. And so I want to say from 2023 to 2025, my hair was like trying to make a comeback with like, basically like receiving the thickness and the volume and all that like that I had prior back on my head. And so safe to say this picture right here was taken September of 2025, and I grew it back. So I suffered from two different damages, and I brought my hair back two different times. And that's my story behind my business, okay? And so of course you guys are going to get way more from this page, along with more hair products, skincare products, all that jazz, because essentially I'm a self-care company. Now first things first, before I'll go over the instructions on how you utilize, I'm going to go over the three different sizes in which able to utilize. Alrighty. So it's all the same product, just three different sizes, right? So this is gonna dictate how long you want it to last for. It's not necessarily okay, which one do I first start off with? No, you just choose how long you choose off of how long you want it to last. Alrighty. So this is our 4 ounce, 8 ounce bottle. She's gonna last you around like 4 to 6 months, right? So she's the largest size bottle that we do have. She is honestly recently been selling out a few times, only because I feel like it's like the people who are coming back from getting a 4 ounce bottle. Now essentially the 4 ounce bottle is the hot tamale. That's the hot hand, like that's the one that is frequently selling out because it lasts long enough for you to start seeing something, right? And so last thing on that, not last thing, but second thing is our 4 ounce bottle. So the 4 ounce bottle is gonna last you around like 2 to 3 months ideally. So this is our 4 ounce bottle, so you guys can see the sizes. So this is our 4 and this is our 8. Alrighty, so these are the two different sizes so that you guys can see it clearer. Alrighty, so this one right here is gonna last you about 2 to 3 months, and she is also pinned down below as well. So whenever you guys click the pin product down below, you guys will be able to see size options. And what I did was I had the photographer take pictures of based off how many you're choosing to have. Alrighty, and then we have our travel size bottle. Our travel size bottle should last you about 2 weeks in the house max, if in turn you decide to utilize at home. But like I said, the title is a travel size bottle. So if you go out the country, you got to get on a plane, you got to go through TSA, and you're just taking a carry-on, this is the compatible size for you. Now, if in turn you just want to give it a shot to see how it works on specified areas, cool beans, you may allow it to not allow it, but you may make it stretch for like maybe 4 to 5 weeks, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just like a strong maybe, but it is like a compatible size for traveling purposes. Okay, that's why I created her. And again, this is the 8 ounce. She's gonna last you 4 to 6 months, and this is the travel size. She's gonna last you 2 to 3 months. Alrighty. And so now to get into the important talk, not that talk wasn't important, but then again, I want you guys to understand that this is not a product that I leave y'all high and dry with. You are given a beautiful instructions card that tells you how to utilize the product. Okay, so this instructions card tells you how often to how much. If in turn you are somebody that has been utilizing the oil and think you're supposed to be utilizing it every day, I'm gonna have to hold up your hand when I say this. That's not the right way to utilize it. And so I essentially say that because everything that I tell you guys is based off experience. Your girl went through a lot of stuff with scalp issues because I used to oil my scalp all the time, night and day, every day. And so I was overdoing it essentially. And so what was happening was it was clogging my pores and causing a lot of irritation. And so I want to explain more of that irritation a little bit as I go on with the live. But please understand, it's so easy to build up and clog your pores when utilizing the oil. But I will note that this product is very lightweight and not greasy if in turn you are somebody that has that strong concern. Okay, so again, enhances thinning areas, promotes stimulation, and boosts hair thickness for all hair types. Alrighty. But first things first, you are not going to utilize every day. As I just mentioned, you're going to utilize every other day. So case point example, if in turn you utilize on Monday, you're not going to utilize on Tuesday. Utilize again on Wednesday, you're not going to utilize on Thursday. Utilize again on Friday, you're not going to utilize on Saturday. Right? It's every other day, not every day. And even on those specified days, you're going to make sure you range around your head size. So if you have a small head size, apply 5 to 7 droppers full. Medium head size, you're going to apply 6 to 8 droppers full. Larger head size, you're going to apply 9 to 12 droppers full. That is how you're going to utilize the product. Okay? And so after every application, please ensure that you're massaging for 5 to 6 minutes minimum. Non-negotiable. It can be 9 to 10 minutes. It can be 30 minutes. It can be an hour. It does not matter. Just make sure you are massaging that scalp. Okay, that gets that blood flow circulating a whole lot faster and quicker, right? So whenever you do try the product, you're gonna feel that stimulation feel. It's gonna feel a little tingly. You're gonna feel like a little cool breeze. But once you begin to massage it, it's gonna enhance that feeling. Okay, and so what's essentially happening is your blood flow is being rushed to your scalp. So please note that the title of the product is Ruach Hair Oil, a follicle stimulating formula. So this is a product that's meant to stimulate those dead follicles or sleeping follicles, I shall say, like dormant. Now, I didn't mean to say dead, but dormant, right? So a lot of you guys have been stuck at one length, or you're somebody that doesn't really know what to do. And I essentially want to get more into that because there's 3 different ways on how you can utilize my product. It's not just about putting it on your scalp. I know we went over the primary ways on how you're going to put it on your scalp, and I'm going to go over the results tab in just a second. But I do want to go over how you can utilize it for moisture retention purposes, or how you can utilize it for what's that called, hot oil treatment. So that's an important step that's missed when it comes to basically shedding, all right, before your wash days, all right. And so essentially I want to go over the results tab first, and then I'm going to go over the other ways on how you can utilize it. But I did want to address some questions that was asked in the last chat that I didn't get to. Somebody says that they had a condition that kind of reminded me of seborrheic dermatitis. So if you're somebody with that kind of yeast on your scalp and you're wanting something that basically wasn't not going to irritate it, and that's going to basically try to give you the same results as you see with everybody else that really doesn't have that condition, I would say yes, give the oil a shot. Now, but I'm going to be careful with what I say because it's not a product that's it's not a drug, so I can't make any guarantees that sound like promises, right? But I can only give you the results that I do have so that people can understand, like, hey, this is what you're going to do, this is how you're going to utilize it, you know what I mean? And so that's essentially what I want people to understand. That way we don't go into this thing like, oh, this is a guarantee. No, it's not a drug. It's not labeled as a drug, it's not filed as a drug, and it's not licensed as a drug. Alrighty, it's nothing over the counter. It's just 16 to 20 natural organic ingredients that I put together at 16. And so I started selling it, and then it was like this solution that was for me and for other became solutions for other people as well. Alrighty. And so anywho, let's go over the results tab. So I know it's a frequently asked question, so I'm gonna put it in the chat down below so y'all know what we talk about. How long until we see results? So this is one that I'm gonna actually pin so that y'all know what we asking, because sometimes people will come in live and they'll ask a question that I'm responding to, and sometimes that can be it can be a lot sometimes. So like, y'all, I'm explaining it right now if you give me a moment. Alrighty. But anyway, so first things first, I go over the results tab. I start with the improvements. Okay, so I separated between improvements and inches. Those are two big differences. Alrighty. So when it comes to improvements, you have to understand that makes up of the appearance of baby hairs, the increase of thickness, and the decrease of shedding. Right. So if in turn you are somebody that's experiencing a lot of shedding, and one of the questions from the last live that went out like 30 minutes ago was somebody that was going through menopause. So my mother is going through perimenopause, like that stage before the menopause actually kicks in. Her body's preparing for it, so she was dealing with a little bit of shedding, and so I noticed it, and I put her on my regimen. She's been utilizing my oil consistently, and her hair is starting to thicken up a little bit now, a little bit more now. It wasn't, I think it was shedding and she didn't notice it, but it was like it's starting to thicken up, like it's coming back to what I remember it to be, you know what I mean? And so decrease of shedding is a big one, and I'm just on topple on that. I do want to mention how these three wonderful women came through my live, and they were talking about how basically the product help their hair stop shedding. And so this is something I never know that my product could do, and it's something I will always talk about, because I was thrown back when they told me. Now mind you, it was three women that came back to back, and I did not know who they were. So it was like, I was explaining on my live like how I'm talking to y'all, and this one woman came through. She said, hey, this product helped my hair stop shedding. It shed as much as it used to, da 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 da. And so for that she was the first one. I was like, okay, that's amazing, cool, you know what I'm saying, tap tap tap. And so I want to say after like 5-10 minutes, another one came through and was like, hey, when I wash my hair, it don't shed as much ever since I utilized this oil. I was like, okay, now I got a little, I was like a little interested now, because I was like, hold on, like, do you use it on your hair? You use it on your actual scalp? And she said her scalp, and I said, oh, okay, at my mind going towards, okay, you maybe was dealing with breakage and you started utilizing the oil, because essentially oils can be used as sealants too, just not by itself. Okay, and what I say by itself, I'm going to explain a little bit later after I finish the results tab, so that y'all can understand like how to utilize it for moisture retention purposes. But just a side note, this is not an oil that you put on your hair by itself. Okay, that's a recipe for disaster if in turn you want like dropper hair. Alrighty. But anyway, so like I was saying, there was that's like, I was thrown back. I did not know my product could do that. So essentially I was just telling people, hey, ever since then I was like, hey, you can use this on your scalp and it decreases shedding, you know what I mean? And so so that's first things first on the list. Number 2 on that list is increase of thickness. Now I know you guys see this photo up here, that's me, right? And so essentially when it comes to that photo right there, I always pinpoint something. I said my hair isn't like, it's like, I said it wouldn't look that good essentially if in turn it had the length, but it didn't have the thickness or the volume. And so volume is something that's like always thrown under the bus when it comes to growth, and I don't know why. Right? Because if in turn you didn't have that fullness, it wouldn't really serve you that like, oh, I'm satisfied type of feeling. You know what I'm saying? And so I always like to note like, hey, volume is a big part of your growth, right? And it's actually the driver for your length. Okay, and so the increase of thickness is something that you should start seeing around that time frame, and that time frame that we're speaking of is 1 to 4 weeks. Okay, well, it's what you should start seeing. 1 to 4 weeks. Just to go over that again, is the decrease of shedding, and then now we're on the increase of thickness. Now we're moving on to the appearance of baby hair. So let's say you had a wig and it tore your edges up. I mean, it took them slam, it cleaned your edges, made them smooth as a baby's butt. Okay, and so you start utilizing this product. You should start seeing that peach fuzz come back around like that 1 to 4 week range. Okay, commonly you may see around like 2.5 to 3 weeks, but I like to leave that time frame open from 1 to 4 weeks. And then also sometimes 5 if in turn you're dealing with deficiency. So if you have a type of alopecia like traction tension, or if you have like a Rita or whatever the case may be, I like to leave that time frame open a little bit extra, like maybe a week after or maybe two, because most the people that are receiving these results from that 2.5 to 3 week mark aren't really dealing with what you're dealing with, right? And so deficiencies like low vitamin D, low iron levels, and low anemic levels and all that stuff that also play a big role. You know what I mean? Jason made my order. Where did you make an order on here, or did you go on? Wait, where you make an order on here? Or somewhere else. I mean, I can't say that. Dang, I gotta be careful what I say on TikTok. Um, cause TikTok is funny acting, y'all. I be trying my best like to keep it cute, but there's certain things I cannot say, so I'm gonna try to dance around it. But yeah, so that makes up the improvements tab though. That should take you around like 1 to 4 weeks to start saying. So I just literally went back over your question from the last live. I know we were having technical difficulties, so please like forgive me for that. I did not. I was messing with buttons, and I forget that I'm not in IT and I'm not a tech person, so I was playing with stuff and it turned my camera off, and it took me about 30 minutes to get it back up. But we're back, so it don't even matter. But anyway, so that makes up the improvement steps. So you start seeing around like a week to 4 weeks, or sometimes 5. But if in turn, you are somebody looking for length, right? So listen up when I say this is the other category when it comes to the growth when it, in my product, in which you should start seeing. Did that will take you around like a month and a half to two to start seeing, and would I something that as something I note. But if in turn you are somebody, you know, let's say it like this: if commonly I've seen my customers come back around like a month and a half. Okay, that's common, but everybody's testimonial is different. And I want to ensure that everybody on this live knows that. Okay, so enhances thinning areas, promote stimulation, and boost hair thickness. Is there anything do I that I need to go over for anybody watching the live right now? So again, these are 3 different sizes. It's not a matter of okay, which one do I buy, unless we are talking about the difference of what's it called? The difference of sizes, okay, and how long you want it to last for. So it should last you. If you get a 4 ounce bottle, it should last you about 2 to 3 months, right? Enough time to start seeing your results from the time frame that I just explained. That's the 4 ounce bottle. Okay, so for the ones that are, well, let me see. So it's the 4 ounce bottle. I'm gonna twirl her a little bit so y'all can see her. All right, so this is my bottle. That's why she's like almost like half empty. But this is the 4 ounce bottle. Okay, she's gonna last you about 2 to 3 months. Alrighty, and this is our 8 ounce bottle. She gonna last you about 4 to 6 months. So if you're somebody dealing with alopecia, Rita alopecia, traction tension alopecia, if you're dealing with trichotillomania, if you're dealing with any of those conditions, then I want to also note that I'm also somebody that dealt with traction tension alopecia along with trichotillomania. And so, with that being said, anytime I would receive spots on mainly my scalp, I would have like the sizes of a quarter on my scalp. So I had like experienced like bald spots, and so what I would do is I would just utilize my oil in those areas, make sure I hide it like in a hairstyle like this, and essentially just keep it away until that spot grew back, right? And so simple as that. And so yeah, that's really like another part of my story whenever suffering from heat and color damage, and essentially just getting back to what you see in the picture in the corner, you know what I mean? And so yeah, but anyway, if in turn you are somebody that's dealing with alopecia or like menopause, anything with shedding, right? And I just want you guys to know, like, hey, I say heavily give this a try. And again, for the ones that are purchasing, please note that this is not an everyday product, okay? This is every other day. So, okay, example may be, let's say, I know a lot of you got y'all's oils, I want to say like maybe Saturday. I had a ton of orders get dropped off on Saturday. All right. So if in turn you get your order tomorrow, right? Let's say you start immediately on Monday. You start Monday, you're gonna skip Tuesday, utilize again on Wednesday. From Wednesday, you're gonna skip Thursday, utilize again on Friday. From Friday, you're gonna skip Saturday, utilize again on Sunday, right? So it's every other day, not every day that you're gonna utilize this product. Okay. And so from there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna range around your head size. So if you have a small head size, apply 5 to 7 droppers full. Medium head size, 6 to 8 droppers full. Larger head size is 9 to 12 droppers full. You get what I'm saying? And after every application, you want to make sure that you massage for 5 to 6 minutes minimum. Okay, so that whole entire segment, I went over how you're going to utilize it and what you'll receive in your package. So your package will have that instructor's card that tells you everything you need to know, everything that I just reiterated to you all. You're going to receive that in the mail with your oil. I don't leave y'all high and dry because it's a right and wrong way on how to utilize this stuff. Okay, so again, essentially it's a follicle stimulating formula. It's meant to basically stimulate those follicles. And if in turn you are somebody with locks, okay, so I have an intro page where it's like before I go live, you guys see all like my testimonials over the years of the people talking, of those who have different backgrounds, races, ethnicities, who are Caucasian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, African American, does not matter. And my favorite one is at the bottom, it's my aunt's locks, and you can see how much they've grown. And so I love to talk about the locked, hairstyle because I know you guys are very, very adamant on what you put on your scalp because you don't want to cause a lot of buildup. And that should be anybody, period, right? And so my product is very, very lightweight and non-greasy. So your whole objective when utilizing the oil is to stay away from heavy oils. Like, I think the common one is castor oil by itself, I'd say, because castor oil has its benefits if in turn it's formulated correctly. And so there's castor oil in my product, but it's not overtaking the whole entire formula to where it feels like molasses, right? And so heavy oils do nothing but sit on top of your hair shaft. They sit on top of your hair shaft along with basically sitting on top of like your follicles. So it's not really seeping into there. So please note that if in turn you are somebody that's consistently utilizing something like castor oil, right? Your ideal goal should be something very lightweight and non-greasy when it comes to your scalp. But when it comes to like leave-in conditioner, butters, none of that should be going on your scalp, right? I'm so at like y'all, I care so much about my hair growth, bro. Like I know I'm like at the level, I have this much growth already and like have this much hair or whatever you want to call it already, but I still have a goal that I want to reach and I'm not going to stop until I get there. But there are strategies and tactics. There's tactics within the strategy on how to get there, right? And so essentially what I'm telling you guys on this live is how you can basically like, jump on that train too if in turn you have been somebody that wants some level of solution, you know what I mean? And so I went over the scalp care part because you have to understand that there's 3 components that make up strong healthy hair. That's scalp care, which essentially is like follicle care. Number 2, moisture retention is a big one, so I'm gonna teach you how you can utilize the oil for moisture retention purposes, and hot oil treatments, right? So first things first, before I go over the moisture retention, because the scalp, the hot oil is like hot oil treatments is like, an explanation within itself. Everybody knows what a hot oil treatment is, but ideally this is how I do use the product for hot oil treatments. I take around like 4 to 8 ounces of the oil, and what I do is I coat my hair in on the ends and on my scalp. I heat it up for like 15 minutes before I do that, and then I put it on my hair and my scalp like I just told you guys. Leave it on for about 10 to 12 hours under a plastic cap, and then I make sure I rinse it out the morning after, right? So once I rinse it out the morning after, I'm washing my hair, and this decreases so much shedding. I think the turning point was, of course, starting utilizing the oil, but also like for my hair purposes for shedding, because understand, it's not that your hair isn't growing, it's the fact that you don't know how to keep it, and that's the issue, right? And so moisture retention should be your best friend. Low manipulation hairstyle should be your best friend, and I'm going to get into that in just a second when I go over how you're going to utilize it for moisture retention purposes. So first things first, if in turn you're dealing with a lot of shedding, I highly suggest you utilize the product as a hot oil treatment. Please, if in turn you already have the product, please give it a shot. If in turn you have not tried it yet, stick that plastic cap on there for about 10 to 12 hours. You got to sleep in it overnight. It's very lightweight, non-greasy, and it's going to seep into like whatever product you already have on your hair. So it's like, it's not going to like leak is what I'm trying to say, right? Unless you put like overly too much, okay? But anywho, So essentially, yeah, so oils act as pre-poos, and that's an important step that most people skip when it comes to like trying to retain some type of length and like basically moisturize that hair. Okay. Next thing is the LCO method and lock method. So essentially, if in turn you are somebody that doesn't know what this is, please hone in and listen, especially if in turn your hair doesn't last unless your hair doesn't like, I want to say if your moisture doesn't last for like more than 2 hours, okay, or even a day, or freaking 30 minutes. I don't know, right? And so, case one example, we're going to go over the porosity first. So, let's say you have low porosity, right? If you have low porosity hair, you're going to go by the LCO method. If you have high porosity, you're going to go by the lock method, okay? So, let's get that out the way. But, okay, first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to do the water test. This water test is going to basically tell us everything we need to know. We're going to take a clean strand of our hair and we're going to see if it sinks or if it floats. If it floats after 5 to 10 minutes, I would ideally say wait 10 minutes because that's where you can really see what your hair, where your hair is at. You have low porosity hair. If it sinks, you have high porosity hair. Alrighty. So from there, what you're gonna do is you are going to then know which one you need to abide by. So if your hair floats, you have low porosity. If it sinks, you have high. So if you have low porosity hair, you're gonna abide by the LCO. Right. That's the moisture retention method for LCO method for low porosity hair types. Right. If in turn you have high porosity hair, you're gonna go by LOC. Okay, so it's gonna go liquid, oil, and cream. The liquid that I utilize, if in turn you guys don't want to just utilize regular distilled water, in which I'm gonna be honest with you is a better hydrosol within itself. You'll see it in a lot of leave-in conditioners to this day. Is aloe vera juice. So I use raw aloe vera juice on my hair as my liquid. So you can spritz, you can mix up distilled water and raw aloe vera juice in like a spray bottle. Then damp your hair. Do not drench it. Damp your hair in aloe vera juice. Okay. From there, what you're gonna do is you're going to apply the cream. The cream is the leave-in conditioner. Alrighty. So the cream leave-in conditioner that I utilize for right now. Check messages. It's 4 a.m. Oh, customer service is open today. Hold on, give me a second, okay? Let me see. Can I open? Nah, not right now. Okay, I will after the live. Alrighty. Um, yeah. Okay, but essentially, whenever you do the leave-in conditioner, what you're gonna do is you are going to dang, where was I at? Freak. Leave-in conditioner that you utilize is Shea Moisture. Alrighty, so Shea Moisture. I won't even supposed to mention that. Oh my gosh, my man just went blank. Oh Lord. I wasn't supposed to say that. TikTok was in me violation. I can't mention pimp labeled products unless it's mine. Freak, I had a brain freeze. But anyway, so the C stands for cream, which is leave-in conditioner. Try to like choose whatever like works for you, but this is how you can better utilize it. And then lastly, you're gonna utilize the O, that being oil. Alrighty, so the oil is the sealant of it all that basically like helps retain that moisture. Alrighty, so that is that. That's the LCO method and lock method. The lock method is pretty much the same thing as the LCO method. But if in turn you have like what's it called, if in turn if you have high porosity hair, again it's literally the same thing. You're just going to switch the O and the C around. Okay. But give me a second, y'all. Sweet ham and cheese. Let me make sure it's my agents open that way. So if you guys have any type of like, when it comes to hold on, bro. My sweet ham and cheese. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not mentioning that conversation on here because I'm looking at the whole entire history of it. So I don't know if you're still here, but did you follow the procedure of what was told? I see nothing was supposed to be responded to on Sundays, but based off of the history of the messages, did you follow them? Are you still on here? Did you follow the procedure? I don't know if she's still here. Hold on. Hello. She's still here? Who is this? What's her name? I don't know her name. I adore Melly. Is she still here? Hello? Are you still here? So if in turn, listen, I don't know. I don't know if she's there. I'm not gonna bring that up if she's not here, but I say hello like my bad, y'all. Like I'm on the phone. My fault. That was unprofessional. My famous in the camera. I don't know if she's still here. Like what the heck, girl? Hold on, y'all. Because I didn't want to return just about. No, so the procedure is the based off the option you click, just send something. That's what they're trying to. They're trying to say send something empty. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. I'm not gonna be too open about it because I see the history of it. They're just that's you click that option. Since you click that option, it's like a requirement. Like it's not something where you just click the other option what they told you. I'm trying my best not to say too much because there are real scammers on this app. But you have like it's just a regular mailer. Okay, so if I don't, can I just get? I mean, that was an option to you as well. You said you didn't want that option. So do you want that option? I mean, that can be done. And then you said you didn't know how to do it. So the return label, as soon as you approve it, they send it to your email. So it's like a return label that's already created, right? So what you do is you slap it on a poly mailer and you just return it. And I already know what the situation was. I already know. Like if you send it empty, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is what we told her to do. I still want to try out. I mean, that's we. You can if you want. I mean, we ain't. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was on us. You know what I'm saying? Because that's unfortunate. That's why we told you the initial message. It was basically saying sometimes that can be unfortunate. Like they just mishandle stuff. Like I can't. Like if in turn I give them this wrapped up in bubble wrap in a box and they still decide to throw that joker across the warehouse and it break. Unfortunately, I'm not the one that get on planes and deliver it to y'all. So like that's on them. But then again, I will continue to, like you didn't have a chance to try it, so it's like I would like for sure I would give you another one. But I didn't know what you wanted. I don't think it was clear on what you wanted to do. So I was like, okay, if in turn you just want to just reverse the whole entire thing, like you had already clicked that option, but it was like I had to like basically help guide you so that you could get what you wanted back. And I'm trying to be discreet with what I'm saying because I didn't want it. That's why I don't like customer service being in the lives. You know what I'm saying? I just want like because it's 4 a.m. now. I would have responded in there in the chat or whatever. But I mean, if you still want to try, I can get another one out. I can, but it won't be through. Dang it, I can't say that on live. TikTok is stupid. But we can make that work. I would just need your address though, your address number and all your information for where you want me to send it to, so that you can get live updates, notifications, and stuff like that. Because TikTok they don't do that. Yeah, just send it. You can send it. I would advise that you send it through Instagram though. You got to send it through Instagram. So my Instagram is Diamond Monroe Organics. That way I can get all that information and I can create it right now. And then I can get it out with the pack today. So did you throw the card away too, or did you need another one? That's the same thing. That was the same thing. I did not mean to say like that. Y'all, I did not get any sleep. I literally just hopped on live at 2 a.m. Like, I am tired. But I'm probably just going to throw a card in there anyway, just in case. But, anywho, y'all, this actual camera's gonna die, so I'm gonna transition the live over to my regular phone. I'm literally about to transition things over, so give me a second. I'm gonna text you. Yeah, text right now. Right now, that way you don't get you don't get lost in the sauce. Let me see. My eyes are so hooded. All right, I'm about to restart the live. Well, actually, I can do this right here. The car had oil on it. I threw it out. Sadly, I'm gonna. Well, I'll just give you the card. It's fine because I was gonna ask you, do you want an extra card in the package? But yeah, that's why I initially asked you. I was like, you ain't get a chance to try because I know you said something about your grandma, but I was like, do you want to try? But I didn't know. I was like, But I'm about to hold on. Give me a second. End live on the other one, and then come live on here. Yeah, I thought end live was like, what do you want to do? All right, we all good. I mean, whatever you want. We are back up and live. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm on my phone now. I don't know. We were just live on my computer, but not computer. Daggum it. Oh, what I just burped. I think y'all getting ready for work right now, aren't you? Everybody rising, shine, rise and freaking shine. Let's get ahead of the day early. Get a workout in. You know what I'm saying? Go place some orders. Yeah, we good money. We all good in the hood. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm just on the chat. Let me see what we talking about. What we talking about. Alrighty. I know it's real early. Good morning. Good morning, America. Let me stop. I play too much. Good morning, guys. How are y'all doing? Golly. I missed you guys on Sunday. For the ones that are new here, I know some of y'all just came back from my other live, but I was talking about the oil. But I like this frame. I'm not gonna lie to you. This will never get old. You know, we have the frame with my camera, but this battery dies very, very quickly. And so I will have to charge it for like ages before it like gets full. But anyway, hi kings and queens and everything in between. Everybody that just woke up, just joined the live, welcome. Welcome back for the ones who've been, here before and the ones who haven't. Welcome. My name is Diamond Monroe, and I said virtually meet you. Okay, I'm the CEO and founder of this company, so I'm just gonna give you guys a little rundown of what I do. As explained in my last live, from a little bit, not even like 2 minutes ago, I just went over my story. That way, you guys can know the story behind this picture right here. Alrighty. So, whenever I was 14 years old, I suffered from heat damage, and when I suffered from this heat damage, there was nothing on this market, in this economy, that was bringing my hair back at the time. I can say nowadays we got a little bit more product, but anyway, it was nothing that was bringing my hair back at that time. And I see Melly, did you get a chance to DM me? Wait, I can't do it now. I can't respond now. I'm on live on my phone. I can't even go on my Mac, okay? But I know I'll be creating it as soon as I get off of here. So this live is gonna probably end around like, what time do I have up there? Give me a second. So my live this morning started at 3 a.m. I may end it around like 6:30 to get my phone on the break, and I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna make your order, and then I'm gonna be back around like 8 a.m. But you're gonna get a notification, so I'm gonna have it sent to your email. So make sure you just send me all that: email, number, address, name, accurate email, because I don't want to return either, because they will do that. They will return your box if in turn, you know what I mean. They what's it called? If it's like wrong or whatever. But essentially, yeah. So thank you for texting me. That way I can get you situated. But anywho, just to continue my story again, rise and shine for the ones who just joined. And so essentially, just to continue my story, I was 14 when I suffered from heat damage, and there was nothing on the market that was bringing my hair back. So what I had to do was I had to pivot, and I got in the kitchen and began to whip up my own ingredients and put them in my hair, and I noticed that it was making a difference, but it wasn't enough to be like, oh, the heat damage is completely gone. So I just start completely over, and so not start over, start where I was at, but just move forward when doing it. And so I want to say about a year and a half and some change later, I decided to blow dry my hair during COVID, and I noticed that my heat damage was gone. And not only that, but I noticed that my hair was thicker, healthier, and just a whole lot fuller than I had ever seen before. And with that being said, I took it to Snapchat with my peers. And so when I took it to Snapchat, people were signing up asking me, like, oh my gosh, what did you do to get your hair that way? Da 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 da. I say, right? And so I was like I wouldn't say like a dummy, because I wasn't gatekeeping anything. I was like, hey, like, this is what you do. Like, you throw this together, do this, do that, da, 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 da. Like, because I had been making it for so long by then. I was like, okay, just try this, try that, and just pull this together and pull that together, and then throw that in there. That's what I was telling them, y'all. And so I was really counting, recollecting, like, okay, how many people are really taking into account what I'm saying? Barely anybody probably. And they were saving the messages, but they were probably not coming back to it because it was a lot of stuff that you had to buy. I was, it was a long list of what I was giving them. But anyway, essentially, I was giving them a rundown what they could do, and around the 8th, 10th person, I stopped and I was like, oh gosh, girl, shut up, this is your business. Started my company about a month later, and I sold out the first day. When I sold out, I noticed that my business just began to grow a lot more whenever it came to word of mouth, and basically like from the testimonials that were being posted from other people's pages, and people were like following me from that. They were like, oh, or trying to add me on Snapchat as a friend because they were like, oh, this girl right here got the oil, right? Because during COVID, I was just texting people like, oh, hey, meet me here, meet me there, and of course, like they were selling me out too. But anyway, so fast forward around that time frame, I got a little big headed. I was hard headed essentially, and I did not listen, and so I ended up dyeing my hair as after I was instructed not to, and I broke my hair clean off all over again as if I never did anything in the first place. So we had to start back at square one. So that was the year of 2021. Um, by 2021, my ultimate goal was just to grow my color completely out. So that's what I did. I grew my color completely out, and I I think that was by 2023. I always say I think like that isn't the date I always mention. By 2023, I grew the color completely out, and so from there, what I did was I just locked in and focused on bringing back my density, my thickness, and my length. Basically, like what made my hair look full in so many words. And so it's because whenever I had grew my color out, it took my hair with it, my density with it, and my length with it. It took all of that with it. So I just had to start over, right? All over again. So it was like starting over twice within one journey, right? And so it was like growing the color out in that one phase and second phase. Okay, you grew the color out, now just sticking your hair back up and then get your length back and all that jazz. So, it's safe to say that I achieved that. So by 2025, this is what my hair looked like in September just last year. And so it's safe to say my hair has made a lot of headway since then. And I haven't really took a picture recently in that basically like that, what's it called, that posture, but I soon will be, and I cannot wait for my next trim. There's the way I can show you guys my progression. But yeah, that's my story. So I suffered from two different damages, and I brought my hair back twice. And when I brought my hair back, it strengthened my story. Essentially, it wasn't like something that was like, oh, I wish my hair would have been a whole lot longer if I would have never did that. And I look at it now like it's a blessing, because it's like to come back twice, you know what I'm saying, with like not really spending that much money. And I say spending that much money because a lot of people, they feel like they have to go be in and out the hair salon and do this. And I'm like, no, this is like homegrown. This is me. This is this is mine. You know what I mean? And I get to say, like, by the grace of God, I did this, right? And so with a special formula, like when I tell you, me and this oil was best friends during this freaking journey, best of friends. Okay, so this is our 8-ounce bottle. Alrighty, not to mention, alrighty. So this is our act for one. It's pronounced Ruach hair oil. Ruach hair oil. It enhances thinning areas, promotes stimulation, and boosts hair thickness for all hair types. Alrighty, so I don't care if you're Caucasian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, if you are Asian, if you are somebody who is African American, it does not matter. The instructions that I give you guys is all the same, and essentially, if in turn you have a scalp, you should be able to utilize it. So it's a unisex product for my men that are going to ask me, "Hey, can I utilize this?" Absolutely, right? But let me elaborate. All right, let me go over these sizes real quick. That way, I can show you. But this is our 4-ounce bottle. Okay, the 4-ounce bottle can last you around like 2 to 3 months. All right, so this one right here is the hot tamale. This is the common one that many people purchase, and they purchase it because it's to last you a long time, last you enough to start seeing the results that I am going to mention. And the results in question are basically like I separate it between like inches and improvements. The improvements being like decrease of shedding, increase of thickness, and the appearance of baby hairs. And then next on that list, that being the length. The length being, basically the inches. You know what I'm saying? There's two different ones. I just like to elaborate on the improvements because it's two different kinds of growth. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want people to understand that. But this bottle right here is enough time. It gives you enough time to start seeing it, right? So this right here should last you a 2 to 3 month of, this is 2 to 3 months of supply, essentially, is what I meant to say. Okay. Number two, customer is live. I thought it was number two, comment. If in turn you're trying to leave a comment and it's being muted, please note that's not me ignoring you. Okay, it's being muted. I don't know why. Sometimes TikTok just does that. I have no clue on why, okay? But essentially, try to ask the question one word at a time, and I'm going to try to answer it the best way I know how, okay? But anyway, this is our 4 ounce bottle, so she should last you about 2 to 3 months. And then we have our travel size bottle. So our travel size bottle should last you a max of like 2 weeks in a house. But if in turn you utilize it on like the specialized areas, like, let's say you had a bald spot on your scalp, it could be your edges, sides, don't matter, okay? Because I know people like to note, well, I got a bald spot like right here. Will it work? It's, if it doesn't matter where the bald spot is, essentially you should just be putting the oil on your whole entire head anyway, right? And I'm going to explain how you're going to utilize it in just a second, because that's the most important instructions that I can give you, okay, when utilizing an oil, period, okay? But anyway, I make her for traveling purposes. That's why she is this small. And if you utilize on your whole entire head, it should last you a max of like 2 weeks. The travel size should. But this is our 4 ounce bottle. This is our 8 ounce bottle. So when people ask, okay, which one should I start off with? It's no different. This product is no different from the other. It's just more so how long you want it to last for. Okay, so fast forward from there, we are going to go over how you're going to utilize it, right? So this is not an everyday product. Okay, I'm gonna say it loud, just for the people in the back, not louder, but I'm just gonna say it again. Okay, this is not an everyday product. This is every other day. And so what I mean by that is, if in turn you use it on Monday, you're not going to utilize it on Tuesday. Utilize it again on Wednesday, you're not going to utilize it on Thursday. Utilize it again on Friday, you're not going to utilize it on Saturday. And so what I just explained to you is, like, it's that's just an example, okay? So if in turn you utilize it on Tuesday, right, you're gonna skip Wednesday, utilize it on Thursday, utilize it on Thursday, you'll utilize it again on Saturday. It's every other day, not every day. And on those specified days, you're gonna make sure you arrange it around your head size, right? So if you have a small head size, apply 5 to 7 droppers full. Medium head size, apply 6 to 8 droppers full. Larger head sizes, apply 9 to 12 droppers full. Am I making sense to y'all? So it's every other day, not every day, that you're going to utilize this product, okay? And after every application, please ensure that you make sure you massage for 5 to 6 minutes minimum, non-negotiable, okay? This increases the stimulation on the scalp, and also basically like enhances like that feeling that you're going to get with that tingling sensation from the oil anyway, right? So again, it's a follicle stimulating formula. A lot of you guys may be like taken back from it, but in a good way. When it comes to like that tingling sensation, it's going to throw you off guard, right? Did I make it? Yeah, this is my product. I've been making, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but I essentially just tell my story throughout the live. So I suffered from heat damage and cold damage, and I brought my hair back twice. And so I suffered from heat damage at the age of 14. By the age of 16, it was grown back with my own remedies, right? By the age of 16, I grew it back, and I want to say I enjoyed it for about a year. So by the age of 17, I broke it off again because of color. Dumb E. And then I want to say by, what age was I? 2023, so 2021. By the age of 20, I grew the color out, but by the age of 22, I grew my hair back to what you see right here in the corner. But this is my product. So it's made of 16 to 20 natural organic ingredients. And yeah, I'm here to share more of it with you guys. Okay, but yeah, so enhances thinning areas, promotes stimulation, and boosts hair thickness for all hair types. And if you want more evidence and more, what I'm saying, it is on my page if in turn you wanted to go look at it. Okay, but anywho, yeah, but this is our 8 ounce bottle. She gonna last you 4 to 6 months. This is our 4 ounce bottle. She gonna last you 2 to 3 months. This is our travel size bottle. She gonna last you a couple weeks in the home, and I created her for traveling purposes essentially. Okay, if in turn you guys did want to know about that. But all in all though, good morning guys for the ones that are joining. It is now 4:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what is it? Who is that? So is our hair going to be? So as I mentioned prior in the last live, my product isn't a drug, and so legally, I am not allowed to tell you things are guaranteed unless it's over the counter. This is not an over the counter product. It's not a drug. You're not getting this from the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So I can only give you the receipts that I have from my customers, right? That are provided on my page and whenever I have them on the live. But I'm not able to. I can tell you in confidence, hey, like, you can like use it in moderation consistently over time, and that's when you start seeing results, right? But you're not going to get this out the wazoo in 2 weeks. You're not going to get this out the wazoo in 2 months. Whenever going over my time frame of when I started seeing my inches come in, all that jazz, you heard my story. Well, if you didn't hear my story, again, from the years that I suffered from the color damage that started in 2021, I got back to this in 2025. That makes sense. So my ultimate goal when growing my hair back from the color damage was to get it back to what it looked like post heat damage. My heat damage grew out within 2 years. Right. And so you hear what I'm saying, the time frames being realistic. And so now that we on this topic, let's go over how long you should start seeing results. Okay. And so I separate my time frame from inches and improvements. When it comes to growth, throw good thickness is thrown under the gutter, and I don't know why. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite because I used to do the same thing, because I was upset during my journeys on like why in the world my hair looked like it's not growing back as fast, right? And so it was because my hair was trying to make a comeback, and the basically the density that I had lost and the thickness that I had lost during the color damage journey. Now let me elaborate. Okay, so first and foremost, we separated between inches and improvements. Improvements make up of, I want to say, increase of thickness, decrease of shedding, and then the appearance of baby hair. So first things first, let's go over the appearance of baby hair. So let's say if in turn you are somebody that got your edges ripped out because of a wig you wore, right? This is a conversation I always have with my people, and you started utilizing this product. You should start seeing some level of improvements, right? Improvements being that peach fuzz that you can see, visually, like on your scalp, right? You know what I mean? Not inches that where you can pull it down. Okay, just differentiation between the two. But number one, you should start seeing that around like 1 to 4 weeks. Okay, ideally, sometimes 5 if you turn you deal with deficiencies, because you have to understand that that's a major role, right? If in turn you're dealing with deficiencies like high, low vitamin D, low iron levels, anemic levels, all that jazz, please note that factors into hair thinning. Okay, so that's important to note. Okay, and so do you give me a second? Okay, give me a moment. Alrighty, cause now I'm like, okay, just give me a second. Alrighty, but second thing on that list is we have increase of thickness. Alrighty, increase of thickness is basically like, I want to say, like, if in turn like you are somebody that's thinning in certain areas and you want to see your hair thicken up, right? And I feel like that's going to be like a testimonial that you'll see before your inches come in anyway. If in turn you are somebody that, you know what I mean, like has long hair but you just want it to look a whole lot more fuller, I would say, yeah, give it a shot, because personally I saw my thickness before my length. I saw my thickness before my length. Alrighty. And so lastly on that list we have the appearance of baby hairs, thickness, and then we have reduced shedding. So if in turn you are somebody that deal with excessive shedding, I would ideally say this is something you should also give a shot. And so read my words, when hear me when I say in confidence decreases shedding. Okay, and so I say that because of my testimonials that I have received from individuals saying that, hey, my this product's like made my hair stop shedding as much as it used to whenever they wash their hair, or it basically, like, whenever they detangle after they wash their hair, whatever the case may be. Hold on, Trenton, it kind of, I don't know if it muted your question, but what I want you to do is I want you to ask the question word for word. So say if your question is like, okay, can I use it on, like, can men use it, right? So it should be like each word in that question should have its own comment. So can, right, men use it? You get what I'm saying? Can men use it, right? So that, ask it like that, because I think it's muting what you were saying prior, unless you like accidentally typed is and like just put it in the chat. But yeah, essentially, so ask your question as I'm explaining the rest of the results tab. Okay, and so that makes up really the improvements, though. That's what you should start seeing around like a week to 4 weeks, right? But if in turn you are somebody hearing, wanting to know about the inches, commonly what I've seen with my customers, okay, over the past 6 or 7 years that I have been selling the product, okay, is I want to say, I like to say that you should start seeing them around like a month and a half to 2, but commonly my customers have come back around like a month to a month and a half. But that's common, and I say everybody is different. Okay, everybody's testimonial is different. Alrighty, and so again, I can only give you guys like what you see on my page, and the testimonials that I receive from my customers that remember to take their pictures. Okay, because I can't, like, debo everybody to give me their before and after, because a lot of people do come through this live and be like, hey, my hair has grown so much, and I ask them, do they have their pictures? They don't have them. So I can only be like, hey, y'all make sure y'all take y'all pictures before you utilize it. And then you gonna give me a second, y'all. It's just inappropriate. Some people just don't know what to do with themselves. You know what I mean? That's just inappropriate. Like, come on, man. Like, are you serious? Like, that is so inappropriate. But anywho, but yeah, so that makes up the whole entire like results tab, and I pray that that was realistic for most that was listening when I said that. I pray that was realistic. But anywho, essentially, again, it's not a product that you utilize every day. It's a product that you're going to utilize every other day. So, case for an example, again, if you utilize on Monday, you're not going to utilize on Tuesday. Utilize again on Wednesday, you're not going to utilize on Thursday. Utilize again on Friday, you're not going to utilize on Saturday, right? You're going to utilize every other day. You're going to make sure you range it around your head size each time that you do utilize. So, if in turn I want to say you have a small head size, apply 5 to 7 droppers full. Medium head size, 6 to 8 droppers full. Larger head size is 9 to 12 droppers full, right? And after every application, please make sure that you are massaging for 5 to 6 minutes minimum. That increases the stimulation. Again, essentially, it's a follicle stimulating formula. So what it was created for was to basically wake up the dead follicles. Now, if in turn you are somebody that wants the scientific evidence behind this stuff, understand whenever your follicles are being stimulated, it rushes the blood flow to your scalp. Okay, and so what blood carries is the nutrients, vitamins, and oxygen that your follicles need. And so every follicle cell has a building block cell in order for that follicle to develop. Alrighty, and so with that being said, is whenever somebody labels their product as a hair growth oil, which the original name of the product was, it's the scientific evidence behind that kind of backs that up, right? And so what I mean by that is, what if in turn the vitamins are being delivered with the blood that's being stimulated to the scalp, it's enhancing that delivery for that hair shaft to be produced out of that follicle, right? And so a building block cell needs to be complete before the follicle is actually developed. And so when that follicle is fully developed, then your hair shaft produces. Okay, and so that's the scientific evidence behind the product. If in turn you guys wanted to know that, alrighty. And so one thing I also like to mention is was it carnosic acid? It wasn't carnosic, it wasn't menthol, it wasn't lecithin, but it was a renolic. I think it was like a omega acid that's found in one of the ingredients, right? And so a big part of why a lot of people see decrease of shedding when utilizing the product is because of the renolic acid that's found in the castor oil. Now, how I formulate my product is for the castor, my product is very lightweight, non-greasy to notes, okay? But the castor oil doesn't overtake my whole entire formula for it to become very, very heavy. You know what I'm saying? And so, if in turn you are somebody that is utilizing oil that is castor, specifically castor oil, I would suggest that you throw it out. Okay, and I say that because castor oil is entirely too heavy. Okay, your ultimate goal when it comes to utilizing your oil should be the lightest oils possible. Anything going on your scalp should be as light as possible. It should almost like only thing you should allow on your scalp is like water and daggone a light oil. Alrighty. And so that's as simple as I can put it. I don't know how else to put it. But anyway, thick oil should not be being put on your scalp. It causes too much buildup. And so with that buildup, it's just sitting on top of that scalp, not doing anything. Alrighty. And essentially you're just topping oil on top of each other. Like let's say you had box braids in, right? And you started putting oil in your scalp and you just kept oiling it, kept oiling it, kept oiling it, whatever the case may be. And you thinking you're doing something. It's just sitting there. You know what I mean? It's not really absorbing anything because it's too heavy. And so don't let it be like you have like low manipulation hairstyle, because if you have a low manipulate, no, don't let it be if you have low porosity, that's what I meant to say. If you have low porosity, you're way more prone to buildup than high porosity. Essentially, if in turn you have high porosity or low porosity, you want to make sure you avoid anything heavy whatsoever, because you don't want to cause buildup, period, right? And so essentially, please note, like, this is a very lightweight, non-greasy product if in turn you were wondering that, especially for my people with locks. So if you do have locks, please know, like, hey, like, this is a compatible oil, because obviously what the oil was created for was scalp care, y'all. So whenever you are taking care of that scalp, you're taking care of the foundation of the hair, right? And so it's almost like a plant. You water the plant, what happens to the plant? It grows, right? And so I water my plant with my oil. It's very lightweight and fast absorbing, okay? And so it's made of 16 to 20 natural organic ingredients that's brought together for a greater purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so again, it enhances thinning areas, promotes stimulation, and boosts hair thickness for all hair types. Alrighty. So again, this is not a product that you're going to utilize every day. It's a product that you're going to utilize every other day. All right. So if you utilize on Monday, you're not going to utilize on Tuesday. Utilize again on Wednesday, you're not going to utilize on Thursday. Utilize again on Friday, you're not going to utilize on Saturday. It's every other day, not every day. And even on those specified days, you're going to make sure you range around your head size. Okay, and so you will receive all that information in your package whenever you get your car. Alrighty, but let me take time to I think I want to address more so of the, like, if you're dealing with alopecia. So let's say you have traction tension alopecia, right? So if in turn you have traction tension alopecia, or like any type of alopecia period, and you're wondering like, hey, like, will this revive my hair back, right? I would essentially say like, yes, give it a try, right? And I say that only because the testimonial that I had with alopecia regarding, you know what I mean, like the trichotillomania, if you guys know what that is, or traction tension alopecia. I had the sizes of a freaking quarter on my scalp, in three different areas. So it was like right here, right here, and right here. And I would just basically take the surrounding areas, and I would make sure I covered up those bald spots with my hair until it came back after utilizing my product. And so that's something in confidence I can say. And again, this product is not a drug. It's not meant to cure, treat, or disease condition of any kind. Alrighty, if in turn you guys do want something extra extreme, I would just suggest you schedule a doctor appointment and just, you know what I mean, see what they prescribe you. But if you want to go the natural way about it and you want to give my product a shot, go ahead. You know what I mean? But again, I cannot, if in turn you are somebody that's wanting to hear guarantees, I cannot say, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even allowed to say that, because that's false advertising and that's misleading. I can only be as honest and truthful as possible based off of what I've seen, and I can tell you in confidence what the product can do. Alrighty. But essentially, anyway, so this is the 8-ounce bottle. She's gonna last you about 4 to 6 months. Now, she's our largest size bottle that we do have. I believe one of my customers made it last for about 7 months, 7 going on 8 months, and so that's a pretty long time to me. I don't know about y'all, but it's a big bottle of oil, and so I know you guys see like the different options down below. So there's 10 different options, right? So the options are basically based on how many you want in one package. If in turn you want a travel size bottle, then it'll just show like one travel size bottle. If you get a travel size twin, it shows 2. If you should get a travel size triple, it shows 3. If in turn you want a 4-ounce bottle, right? You want a 4-ounce bottle. It's like a 4-ounce single option, and it shows just that one bottle. 4-ounce twin, it shows you 2 bottles. 4-ounce triple shows you 3. 4-ounce quad, signature family 5. You get the gist. Anytime you click an option, it will show you how many you're getting. Alrighty, and so I have options for like the whole entire family, if it's just you by yourself, or you know what I mean, like whatever you want to do. Alrighty, and then essentially we have our 8-ounce bottles. Again, that's gonna last you 4 to 6 months. If in turn you decide to get 2 of these, that's like a year's of supply. Okay, a year's supply. If you share with somebody, ideally the 8-ounce bottle is like the ideal bottle to grab a hold of. But the 4-ounce bottle is like the hot tamale, though. This is the one that frequently sells out because of, I want to say, the time frame that I gave y'all earlier. People hear that and they're like, okay, that's enough time for me to start seeing something. So, but if in turn you do have like a large head size, I will say, if you have a large, if you have a large head size, that being like, I want to say, if it's like, how should I put this? Dang, what's wrong with my chair? If it's you have a large head size and it's like you utilize 9 to 12 droppers full, or sometimes more, because I thought I had a big head until somebody told, somebody may tell me that they use 15 droppers full each and every time. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, you may make it stretch for about a month and some change, a month and like 3/4 or whatever. But that's essentially like what I always like to note when utilizing the product too, for the 4-ounce bottle specifically. And of course you can make it stretch about 3 to 5 months if you have a large size head, but this is a big bottle. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I tested it out the other day, I had not tested it out as in like trying the product, but more so like filling 2 of the 4-ounce bottles to see something. Fill the 2 4-ounce bottles up and then put a little bit more oil in there to see how long it would last for. Right, or like how many it took to fill that one bottle up. Y'all, it took me 2 of the 4 ounces plus some, and I was so taken back. So I was like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of oil essentially. And so if in turn you are somebody that wants to try out the 8-ounce, go big or go home, she's available down below. But also common size bottle is the 4-ounce bottle. Okay. But essentially, like I was mentioning on the last slide before my battery went out, I did want to go over a little bit more of the LCO method, lock method, and I was handling a customer's issue on the live as I was explaining it. But essentially, there's 3 different ways that I note that you can utilize my product. It's not just by utilizing it on your scalp. Okay, so essentially, I created it for scalp because it's for scalp care. So if in turn you are somebody that wants something for scalp care, right? So essentially, it's to enhance the scalp. Basically enhance your scalp care routine. You know what I mean? And so it gives you that benefit of enhancing thinning areas, promotion of stimulation, and boosting the hair types because of your, basically you're essentially taking care of your scalp now. right? And so I want to go over how you can utilize this on your hair shaft. No, I do not advise that you utilize this just by itself on your hair shaft unless you're utilizing it as a hot oil treatment. Okay, so first things first, let's go over the LCO method and lock method, right? I always mention this on live with my customers during the daytime, right? And sometimes, at night as well, well, all the time. In every live, we talk about the LCO method, lock method. For my new crowd here, let's go over it, right? So first things first, we have the moisture retention methods, the LCO method and the lock method. If in turn you are somebody with high porosity hair, you're going to go by the lock method. If you have low porosity hair, you're going to go by the LCO method. Now pause. What I'm going over for the ones that just joined, and just to recap for the ones that have been here, we're going over how you can utilize it on your hair shaft as well for moisture retention purposes. Okay, so there's three acts. There's three ways an oil can basically function for your whole entire head. Okay, as a scalp care treatment, as a hot oil treatment that can be acted as a pre-poo, and as a sealant. Okay, so we're going over the sealant part right now. Alrighty, so if in turn you don't know your porosity, just to proceed with the instructions, if you don't know your porosity, you're going to take a clean strand of your hair, you're going to drop it in a bowl of water or cup of water. Alrighty, you're going to see if it sinks or if it floats after you take that clean strand of your hair and you drop it in there. Wait like 10 minutes. Okay, so set a timer. Wait 10 minutes and see what it does and how it reacts. If it floats, you have low porosity hair. If it sinks, you have high porosity hair. Alrighty, so if you have high porosity, what are you going to go by? LOC. If you have low porosity, you're going to go by LCO. So the liquid that the L stands for liquid. I'm jumping ahead of myself, my bad. The L stands for liquid, the C stands for cream, which is the leave-in conditioner essentially, and the O stands for oil. All right, the L that I utilize, the liquid, is aloe vera juice. Okay, until I utilize, get my own products for this, I utilize aloe vera juice. All right, and that's something y'all can utilize as well. See, I can't tell y'all to leave-in conditioner what I utilize because I slipped up about 30 minutes ago, and I do not want TikTok to catch it because they will send me a ban and a violation, and I don't want those issues. Alrighty, but the C that I utilize is the leave-in conditioner. And so I lather that up on my hair. I have to put like a dime size, or maybe not no dime size, but it's like maybe this much of it, on my palm. I rub it between my hands and I put it on my hair shaft. Once I do that, I then put it on my hair shaft. Alrighty, put it on my hair shaft, make sure it's all good and through, and then I take the beautiful oil. Okay, I take like 2 to 3 droppers full of this. Okay, and then I rub it in between my hands. Again, it's very lightweight, non-greasy, not gonna weigh your hair down whatsoever, especially for my people who are wondering and have issues with that. Okay, I then take that and I coat it on there, but I don't drench it. There's a difference between coating, drenching, damping, and drenching. Okay, and so I basically seal it on in there, and then it seals in my moisture. Ideally, whenever I do the LCO method, I'm always putting in a low manipulation hairstyle. Always putting in a low manipulation hairstyle. This is a low manipulation hairstyle. So I can take this down and detangle. I'm not gonna have that much shedding. Right? Even when I put it back on, put them back in, I'm not gonna have that much shedding. You get what I'm saying? So that's a second way on how I utilize the product. If in turn you are low porosity, right? Didn't forget about y'all. I basically just went over the same order. You're just going to switch the O and the C around. So instead of doing LCO, you're going to go LOC. So you're going to go liquid, oil, then cream. So liquid, oil, and then you're going to utilize your leave-in conditioners. Okay? So this is for my people who moisture retention sucks. Okay? And it's like, you don't know how to get your hair past, you don't know how to get your hair through 24 hours before it goes dry again. Okay, that's what that's for. Mainly for my 4A to 4C hair types. Okay, for textured hair type range. Alrighty, so that's how you're going to utilize it. If in turn you deal with moisture, lack of basically moisture on your hair. Right. Second thing on that list is act as a pre-poo. Right. So anytime I utilize the oil as a pre-poo, which essentially is the hot oil treatment, is before my wash days. So the most important step before washing your hair should be lathering it up. That way it's not so brittle and dry, and you're not just basically stripping the hair of its natural oils, just out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, some of y'all are taking your braids out. Some of y'all are taking y'all hairstyles out, whether it's bundles, whatever the case may be. Your hair ain't touched product in months. Your hair ain't touched, no, matter of fact, I'm sorry, weeks or months. Like, I think months is just worse, but some people, I've seen crazy stuff like, come with me to take my sewing out, I want to say, from 4 months ago. What? From 4 months ago? That is crazy, right? And so you're immediately just like brushing or detangling or whatever. You go right into the washing method. That's cool to a certain extent if in turn you have like high tension. But even if you have high tension, I still recommend that you do this. Utilize oils as a high oil treatment. Oils can be utilized as pre-poos, right? So essentially what I do is I utilize the oils as pre-poo. And then I turn around and I put in a DIY mask, okay? I leave that in for about 10 to 12 hours. And essentially, of course, the bottle is glass. Um, the bottle is glass, so you want to make sure you take like a one of them plastic nozzles you get from the beauty supply store, right? One of them plastic nozzles you get from the beauty supply store, and you let it sit in like some boiled water, right, for like 10-15 minutes. And that's when you put it like I start from my tips and I work my way up to my roots, okay, and then my scalp, and then I turn around and I put the plastic cap on my I put the plastic cap on my hair for about 10 to 12 hours, and then I wash it out the next morning. When I wash it out, I then turn around and I put my conditioner on, and then I rinse that out. After that, I then go into the LCO method and what I just explained, okay, when it comes to moisture retention. And so anytime I do the moisture retention method, I put my hair in two-strand twists. Okay, and so I leave it in for about 2 weeks, still while I abide by the every other day method. Okay, when utilizing the product, and for the ones that just got here, what I mean by every other day method, you're not going to utilize this oil every day. And again, for the ones that are new here, I'm not a commission-based seller. This is my product. This is my brand. This is my business. Okay, I've been doing this for about 6 to 7 years. I'm 23 now, and I've been doing this since high school. I just got on TikTok Shop recently, like a little bit over a year ago, actively selling this product. Okay, so this is my stuff. Okay, I'm teaching you guys all this because of experience. And you know how people say like experience is the best teacher. Yes, it absolutely is. Sometimes I surprise myself when I go into these basically these hair appointments with these cosmetologists, and I'm spitting game to them about what my product has done for other people, right? And what basically I found out through the years, and what how I achieved what I have now. And so essentially, for the ones that are new here, I suffer from heat damage and color damage. Not at the same time, like a I call myself a dummy because I was advised not to do it. But I suffered from heat damage at age of 14, and I grew it back within 2 years. Grew it back within 2 years, and by 2020, I want to say it was 2020-ish, and by 20, well, yeah, no. I was in eighth grade. I was 14 when I suffered from heat damage. I grew it back in 2 years. I'm going to say that because I can't remember the year when I was in eighth grade. I'm not getting old. I'm only 23. Jesus. 2 years later, I grew it back, and that's when I was like, whoa, like what in the world? What did I do? You know what I'm saying? And so people were asking me, and I was like, okay, it was coming back to me. I was like, okay, just do this, do that, and da 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 da. I was not gatekeeping anything. And so as I was giving all these people these ingredients that are present in this here bottle, I was telling them everything that they needed to do, right? I was like, hey, just do this, that, and third, da 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 da. Like, just imagine me being on live with every single, like how I'm on live with y'all, right? But just imagine it being text, I can say, and giving y'all all the ingredients in the chat below. That's what I was doing because I was a hooper. I didn't have any intentions of selling product. I didn't want no company. My tunnel vision was going to school to play basketball and going to the league. That was it. I didn't have visions. I have no company. Around the 8th, 10th person that basically asked me on my story, how did you get this hair? Because I just met you a year ago and you didn't have this, right? You know what I mean? I stopped in the middle of the word grapeseed, okay? And so I had started my company a month later, and it literally grew and sold out the first day. It grew based off word of mouth and testimonials that were being posted on other people's pages, right? These were people I didn't ask. Like, these were people I was finding out that already followed me, right? Or were my friends on Snapchat. I just didn't know them. And so this was like I was already known in my city because of the sport that I played, right? So it was like, y'all look what this girl's oil did to my hair. I'm talking about people that were older than me, seniors. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was hot stuff. And then imagine being in high school and college students getting your product. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought, I was, you know what I mean? I thought I was the, you know what I mean? But anyway, essentially, let me not get too, ahead of myself because I messed up and a few months later. But anyway, so my business is beginning to skyrocket, and I want to say about a few months later, I decided to color my hair, and I think we all know where this is going, so it went south. My hair broke off all over again, so I had to start over. So that was the year 2021, and so I had just I want to say summer workouts that started with me and my team, and I ended up tearing my ACL in the All-Star game. So I was at all-time low. So my hair was gone, and I couldn't play my sport, the sport that I loved all these years, my freshman year of college. So it was like, what the freak, you know what I mean? And so all I had to lean on was my business and Jesus, of course. But I had to, I had to run, roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying? And so my ultimate goal was like, okay, get your hair back to basically what it looked like. I think that was like too generic because my hair grew back in phases. And I say that because your girl did two crazy things. I accidentally trimmed my hair in layers. It was my first time being out on my own, and I scheduled my own hair appointment. And so what I did was I basically told the guy that does my trims, like, hey, I want it done in layers. Hold on, my alarm. Hold on, give me a second. But anyway, I told him that I wanted it done in layers. So I was like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you sure? And I should have known right then and there when he said, are you sure? Oh, I should have known, like, Diamond, that's not what you usually get. And so I went back and told my mom, I said, mom, my hair looked like, it looked a little different. She said, did you get a trim? I said, yeah, but I got it in layers like you usually. She said, you never get it in layers. And so that was step number one that I had to recover from. Okay. Step number two, of course, was the color damage, essentially, right? And so I'm going to say from 2021 to 2023, my color grew out. So it was like I was getting a little irritated because I was like, okay, I see my color, regular color coming back, but it's like stuck at one length. And so this is why I harp on y'all. I pound it on y'all. LCO method, lock method for moisture retention purposes. Okay, LCO method, lock method for moisture retention purposes. That's why I pound it. Like I'm like, yo, do the LCO method, lock method, okay, so that you can know like what to do. Alrighty, and how to retain your moisture, even if you already have color in your hair. Alrighty, but anyway, just to move forward. 2023 they grew the color out, and so my ultimate goal from there was, okay, get your hair back to its fullness, your volume, because I noticed, okay, my hair is not as long as it used to be. So we're gonna get it back there, back to that level, right? And essentially this right here, but there was a different photo that expressed like how my hair looked. And so um it was just like, let me get it back to the density, the thickness, and the length all in one. And so it's safe to say that I did that. So this picture right here was taken 2 years later in September of 2025. So that's my story. I suffered from two different damages, and I brought that joker back two different times. That's literally all I do. I'm not somebody that's just up and decided, no, I'm gonna start an oil company. I'm gonna start a self care company. I'm gonna sell some oil because people gonna buy it. No, 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 no. This is my story, and I'm just, every day that I receive testimonials, it's like my what was a solution for me became a solution for other people, and that's what keeps me going. So that's me. That's me. That's Diamond Monroe Organics. That's how she was birthed. I hope that satisfied most of you. You know what I mean? Or you guys stayed to listen to that. But I forgot how I even got on this subject. I know we was going over the results tab, but I know we went over how often to utilize, but I can't remember. What were we talking about? I think we already went over the LCO method, lock method, moisture retention methods, and we went over hot oil treatments. I can't remember what else we went over. But is there anything that I need to repeat? Who just sent me some hearts in the chat? Thank y'all. Hello, my 5 a.m. crew. This is fun. This is my first time being live this early. So, like, I didn't go to sleep last night. I was like, let me just go live with them because my adrenaline was pumping. It was my first time, like, going live real early with y'all. And so it was like, my morning crew like usually starts around like 11 10 a.m, but I like this late, like not late night, but when it's still dark outside and it's like early in the morning, and I'm catching this new crowd. It's actually fun. But is there any questions that y'all have for me regarding everything that I just said? I know that was a mouthful and a lot, but I do want to like put the attention on y'all because essentially I'm the one that's serving you guys. Like, is there a question that y'all have for me regarding like anything regarding the product, or like how often to wash, or like any tips for your hair, whatever the case may be? Like, what do you guys want from me? I want to be able to. I try to elaborate on all that. That way, like, you guys can like hear me respond to questions that you guys had asked for. Does that make sense? So like I'm answering them as I'm going along. And you're like, oh, that was my question right there. So I try to make you guys feel like, okay, confident in how you're going to utilize it whenever you receive it, along with how much you're going to really utilize. You know what I'm saying? So is there any questions for me? Is there any questions being muted essentially as well? Because I know sometimes whenever I'm live, questions just can get muted because of TikTok. I don't know why, or comments. I essentially, but they'll try to like flag them. I don't know. And they'll not blind them, but they'll put like a mute sign over them, and the public can't see what you asked. And that's annoying to me because it's like sometimes you can ask the same question somebody else asked, and you just can't see, you know what I mean, like what that one person asked because it's not made to the public. Like they muted it, like it's weird. But anywho, essentially, how's y'all morning going though? I know it's like still 2 a.m. on the West Coast, but it's still 2 a.m. over there. Yes, 2 a.m. on the West Coast. Oh my gosh. I remember seeing that photo going viral. Viral. Why wasn't I ever notified? Going viral. Well, that's me. You know what I'm saying? All activities. I don't think it was my photo though, because I know people would have been sent it to me if they know where they got it from, essentially. But I have. Okay, that's fun. That's good. Fresh apple fritters. That's cool. That's cool. I think I'm gonna take y'all to go fill the bottles up this morning too, because I know I gotta answer some things in customer service, but I do want to make sure. Alrighty. So again, enhances thinning areas, promotes stimulation, and boosts hair thickness for all hair types. I know I gotta move all these lights downstairs whenever I do. Go live downstairs and fill these bottles. I know my Twitch is still not up. Oh my gosh, I'm still streaming on Twitch. Did you see? I don't.